time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the season review podcast, episode number 34. And today, for the first time ever, we've got it just took the entire season to finish, but we managed to get all four podcast managers up here, right here, to discuss how our season went, and kind of deep dive, give their reflections, what they thought went well, what they thought went wrong, and maybe what we could do for next season. So joined by Rush, Abin, Roy. How you going?
Good. We finally got there.
Yeah, we finally got there.
Relieved. The stress doesn't have to carry on with me every week.
Fair enough.
I'm just glad United can now rebuild. A very average season for United.
Mm-hmm.
You can focus on the family and my normal work now rather than on this.
I saw a tweet of some guy post on Twitter. It was like, I just realized there's a woman and 2 kids in my house. more news to follow. I was like, yep. But yeah, it's good that the season is done. We're going to kind of look into how our season went. Let me just get this up. So ranks. Let's start. What did you guys think? Is it where you wanted to finish? Or...
I can't believe Rush beat me in the end. All 37 game weeks I'm ahead, and then he snuck in. I had a shit last game week.
Me too. I mean, for me, I'm still disappointed with my rank overall. At one point, I went to 80k. I was hoping to come top 50, but my free hit in 37 went wrong, and my final game week wasn't the best. But I mean, it's okay, I guess, end of the season. But yeah, personally, I'm not too super happy compared to last season when I was like 38k or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, just glad it's over.
Suppose I could do better. I can't believe the panel team beat me.
Yeah, I'll show you why.
The punting team beat you, Roy.
Yeah. But you were ahead of the panel team for some time. I think the panel team, at the end, we made captaincy decisions, which was like just very straightforward on that panel team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll go into the data as well. But what do you think, Roy, overall?
I mean, I could do better. I think I probably dropped the ball towards the end, and shouldn't have trust Ronaldo that much at the start. So I think that's my downfall. Also, put too much trust in Arsenal players as well.
No trust in Maguire, Roy.
I never trust that guy. No, and Luke Shaw.
What do you
Which I
mean?
said,
I think all of us had Luke Shaw in our first game week. Have to.
Yep.
Probably. Yeah.
Who knows who will be next year's Luke Shaw? We'll see. Or next season's Luke Shaw. Yeah, myself, I think ended up well. Although I feel like at where I was in like game week 10 or something, I could have done so much more better. At least ended up top 10k, but it was okay. It was a good end to what was, I thought, a miserable season at one point.
I think you did pretty well, Ryan. I think, yeah, good job. Top 20k is not easy
Yeah.
to maintain and, actually end up at the end. So, yeah, really good job.
Thank you. I was
20k is awesome.
I was very stale at one point though, in terms of rank. Like I guess that's good in one way because you're able to manage whole rank, but I think it was too template. So we'll see. We'll go into these issues we had. Now, a reason for differences in ranks, captaincy. Captaincy was one main point. Now I remember, Abin, last season you were really good at captaincy.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess you still managed to maintain the really good captaincy in terms of the success rate.
Yeah.
The points are the only, I guess your points were slightly different. Thoughts?
Oh, it's Dennis.
Yeah, all of us except for Abin had Abin didn't fall into the Dennis trap.
I thought my worst captain was the worst, but I didn't realize you guys had better worse than me. Dennis -2. Jeez.
Yeah, I remember that game week very well. He got sent off
Yeah,
He
that
got double game week. Everyone picked him, and he got sent off the first game.
exactly.
Damn, all three of yours is exactly the same captain, worst and best.
Yep.
I'm the only
Yeah.
different guy, yeah.
We probably did the same podcast before that game week.
I think so.
We probably did. That's why we ended up with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think it's pretty. So the highest captaincy picker, in the world was 900 points.
Oof.
That was number one. And from what I've seen on the committee, average of this is not too bad. But I guess there were a few moves we could have done that were better. I think partially during that time that Sun was going crazy.
How do they work out this? What successful picks? What's that? 27 or 38?
If
So what,
if he scores
return?
more than so let's say because you're usually expected to get what 2 points for minutes played.
So any return then?
Yeah, any return above the normal.
Yeah.
So any return above the normal is what you usually count. And then that brings me to this, which is, let me bring that up. Let me take this off. We continue the captaincy discussion. So this is what I said. Top guy was 908 points, followed by 900 points. You guys can see this, right? Or is it
Yeah.
too small? Yep. So if we go to like 100 was 818. So not too far. I guess it's 100 points or something different from the top 100 for Rush and myself. But it's good to know with regards to how people did like captaincy. Now, the panel team, and I guess that's the reason why it's slightly bit dry as well, 692.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think even you look at this, I was pretty shocked to see this. Only Game Week 2 was wrong until Game Week 17. Even though we were picking very differential, we were still, I guess, picking some sensible picks until the point when we kind of forgot about it as well at times.
Lacazette for 2 weeks.
Yes, like this was the blank
Damn.
Game Week, to be honest.
It's funny, all the disappointing ones are United and Arsenal.
Yeah.
That's true.
And there's Ronaldo. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I thought this was pretty good. The fact that we went Vardy a couple of times. Okay, Salah was kind of expected. Ronaldo here. Bamford, Game Week 3. So I guess that was one of the other reasons. Like, it still had the same amount of percentage in terms of captaincy picks, just like how we had here as well. But I guess it depends on, even though we had the same captaincy picks like mine and Abin, it's the volume of like the points that came out from it.
Yeah.
I guess that's partially due to the fact that we triple captain Salah, Abin didn't triple captain Salah. That's also another contributing factor.
I think the biggest one for me is probably the De Bruyne captain, which probably is why
Yeah.
24 picks is probably the lowest out of the lot.
Yeah.
I happen to benefit from that De Bruyne, the 1 week game week,
Yes.
which probably skewed a lot as well. But interesting.
Rushan's. This is Rushan's, I think.
Oh god, so much of red.
Yeah, it's a mixer.
A lot of red.
So you had ups and downs. And then Abin's was this. Abin was good whenever it was on Salah, mostly. But then Abin's end, look at that.
Yeah, it's good, strong finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe we all had a good time with having Weghorst as captain, didn't we? I think we all had it. 27.
Did I go there? I don't think I went there. This was mine.
I mean, we had such a time of just
Yes, I had Weghorst as well.
captaining Watford like it was Dennis or King and Dennis King. What a trip for that was.
Yeah. That's the thing. I was like, captaincy was okay, and then middle of the season, not that great. Need to learn from Abin in terms of the finish from Abin was good for this. And then this is, I think, Roy.
Yeah, it started okay.
Yeah. And then the middle of the season, it went a bit this thing.
A lot of Ronaldos, I think that's what really messed it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ronaldo really did me.
Yeah.
Wait,
Really
who
did me.
who saved you on 38? Why is Son
He
vice
had
captain?
Lukaku captain and Lukaku didn't show.
Lukaku.
You are lucky Lukaku didn't show.
Trying to be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, all you have to lose, right? Just
Yeah.
try something
Yeah.
different at the end.
And then this was obviously I showed you guys the panel team. So that's captaincy. Thoughts on captaincy? What do you think? I guess Roy has mentioned Ronaldo already.
Wow, I can't believe there's Bamford there, 3. Like I can't remember him playing this season. Jeez.
Yeah, this was before he got injured, and we thought Leeds had a good game, and he did.
I'm so happy they stayed up. I like Leeds.
Thoughts? No, nothing much.
Well, it
I
just
mean,
seems,
like,
yeah, go on.
Rory. There you go.
Oh, it just seems like the highly performing players always performs. And I think the African Cup of Nations really did Salah.
Yeah.
I think from that point on, and I mean, Jordan, for example, he chose to be different. He got rid of Salah and picked other players instead, and he get rewards for that. So I guess, yeah, really need to look at the games that guy's been playing, the form as well. So I think I stuck with Salah towards the second half, which I probably should have changed.
Yeah, I agree with that, Roy. My thing is I just believed in Salah for so long. Even when we were on AFCON, I didn't even replace him. I just left him on my bench. And that hurt with all that value just sitting there. I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest. But
yeah, that's
because you always feel like he's gonna come good. He's gonna score 2 or 3 goals, but he didn't. And because he's tired, he's knackered. He plays too many games.
This is Jordan's, by the way, 779.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of them would have been towards the end as well.
Yes, look at that at the end.
Yeah.
Very strong finish.
Yeah.
You see the last 5 weeks, they're all different captains.
Yeah.
6 weeks.
And all you could be saying like very punty ones as well that paid off. And I guess that's where we had look at the amount of Suns that came in here, right? Sun was that the move between Sun and Salah I think was very key from 30 onwards.
Well, not even Sun Salah. I mean, I would say Sun Kane.
Oh even Sun and Kane. Yeah.
I wouldn't even put both of them. So at a point I had both of them, but then I was like going forward, I just need just one to get Salah back on my team, and then that was a huge differential. Look at the points delivered by Kane versus Sun. Jesus.
Yeah, that's another true point, because like all of that is where I guess we could have taken advantage of, which we didn't. But then again, it depends on what position we were in as well. Because I know Jordan didn't start great, so he had the luxury to kind of like be a bit more risky. It paid off. But it's a really good, strong finish, which is why he ended in the rank he did.
It's just out of interest, do you have data on who scored the highest for each game week?
For that specific game week in terms of captaincy.
So every game week, who just don't worry about the captain, just whoever scored the highest point.
We can check, right? From
What, each player or each manager, right?
Just go to Kings of the Week.
Just a player.
Kings of the Week.
Player.
All right, here you go.
So
who are these guys?
These are the top performers of each week.
Each game week.
Funny enough, Salah didn't really appear.
Not too many times, no.
No.
I guess Salah at the start was more consistency. But if you look at most of these players, there are quite a lot of defenders who also enter this list. Like Cash, Matip, Doherty, look at that. Oh, this is 27. I'm going back again.
But this does tell you something, right? Because you don't have to pick midfield or striker. The defender can.
Game week 1.
Yeah, Fernandes game week 1. Reece James, defender game week 2. Paul Torres. Marcel.
Not Paul, Ferran Torres.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Cash, defender.
Yeah. Marcel, House.
They were defenders.
Yeah, Llorente, Firmino, Mason Mount, Reece James. So kind of tells us something. Like, I guess in captaincy, something I guess probably you're not looking to try and pick the highest scorer in general always. You're also sometimes looking to pick a consistent performer. Which is why I think that was that time where before AFCON, Salah's perma captain.
was just
because it was better having the more consistent player getting you points than someone who you weren't really sure on.
It's also interesting when you go back to that captaincy picks that, the first half of the season when majority of us are pretty much green, and that's because of Salah.
Yes.
And I think And at one point, it was kind of an instant, there's no question on who was captain for a while.
Yeah.
Until AFCON.
People were just scared of putting someone else because
of that also. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's pretty much AFCON is what kind of changed the dynamics of captaincy choices really, and started, and it was sort of the middle of the season where people had to drop Salah or keep Salah, and then you had to look at other options elsewhere, and that's when things started. Your rank differential started happening. Your
and also double game weeks came in. A lot of bad teams had doubles as well. We tended to go there, which resulted in Dennis' situation. Which I think a lot of us learned at maybe a bit too late, where, okay, they're still pretty bad teams, even though they have doubles, we don't necessarily have to go for them. So yeah, I think those are kind of a few lessons from captaincy. Moving on. Okay, now this is something we did last season, which I'm sure Abin and Roy might slightly remember. Same site. Not Abin and Roy, Abin and Rush. Roy, this might be the first time. So this is mine. Team of the year. My big at the back is pretty strong in terms of the fullbacks. Robertson also there. My goalkeeper, 31 points. That was the highest gain I got from a goalkeeper this season. And I'm sure Abhi might remember. He kept telling me a couple times.
Yeah.
My problems with goalkeepers this season wasn't that great. I kept switching between so many, which I think was one issue that I had. My forward line, I think I picked the strikers at a decent time in terms of picking Kane, Antonio, Ronaldo, all of them managed to pick correctly. The fifth midfielder was slightly different. Interestingly, I owned Son only for a very short period, but he's just there, just outside Jota. So it's either Jota or Son who would have ended up here on this team. But after that, it's like Smith Rowe is still there, Saka. Mason Greenwood is like in my top 20 from players I gained. So I would say this is partially maybe template FC, but my biggest problem I think for me was goalkeeper. Compared to it, if you really look at like the rest, so this is, I think, next one is Rushant. Rushant has more points for his goalkeeper. Heung-min Son, also huge. This is Rushant, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, for me, the strategy I went this time was I wanted to stick with some players. I guess from last season where I just kept swapping players around too much. One of my focuses was to build value early on in the season. I got in like the likes of Cancelo and Son pretty early, and I didn't get rid of them. So I got Son at 10.1, Cancelo pretty much at base price, but I kept them till the end of the season. And I just found that, like, this time around for Son, it helped. I had to, some weeks was kind of tough when there were better fixtures, and I had to sort of, adjust around the budget. Obviously, Salah's point is there, but apart from those really elite picks of like Son, Salah, and I guess Cancelo, the rest, Trent was in and out, but he still managed to get some points for me. My strikers were pretty shocking. I couldn't find anyone who I could keep, but I guess that was the state of the league. There wasn't one striker who consistently, backed you up. I'm surprised Ronaldo scored me 111 points, which is very interesting. I didn't realize I had him for that many game weeks.
You captained him for 5 games as well, apparently.
Disappointing you didn't back JWP, Rush.
Yeah, look like Inter took his place there and 43 points.
Yeah.
The cheap, but yeah, I'm pretty disappointed James Ward-Prowse isn't on my list this time around, but he will be next year. Watch it. At you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say there's no United player until I saw Ronaldo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think Ronaldo. Oh, I have Bruno. See, Bruno Fernandes. How would I have Bruno Fernandes? But I do have him. 97 points for him as well. But then I think that was due to a couple doubles that I bought him in for. Then this is Abin. Abin's slightly different. He's had 5 solid midfielders there. With Marcus Alonso being like the third.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, I must say I didn't have James much at all this season. If anything,
Only 35. Yeah.
I think when I did bring him, he only had because I think James is the most volatile player there was. It was either 18, 20 points or 1 or 2. It was that happened the whole season. So I think I went to the Alonso. Well, Chilwell at the start. Remember, Chilwell did well for us back then. Then move on to Alonso.
Your goalkeeper was solid. 85 from Ramsdale.
Yeah, I got on to Ramsdale pretty early. Before he went wild. Yeah, I mean, it just feels so long ago. Like Antonio, 104. Jeez, I can't remember when I last owned him.
And then finally, this is Roy. Roy got on Ramsdale before anyone of us did.
I think I had him from the very start. I never changed him. So I did really well with my goalkeepers. You can see Sanchez is on the bench as well. So I think what did wrong for me is Ronaldo.
You captained him 8 times.
8 times?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which was, I guess, the difference.
Such a horrible player.
Did you never captain an Arsenal player, mate?
Have I not?
Doesn't seem like it. At least it hasn't appeared too much.
Smith Rowe, Saka, Ramsdale have nothing.
Too cautious.
He doesn't want to go too into Arsenal in terms of trust.
I think what went wrong for me is the midfield. You can see, apart from Salah and Son, I mean, the highest is just 2 Arsenal boys. I really should have done better there.
Yeah.
What's interesting in Roy's one is that, I think his captain's choices seem like it's favoring towards the front line more. He's only captain and defender.
Yes.
Which I'm interested in seeing the others to see how many times we've captained.
Defender wise, this is Abin's no one. Oh, at least no one that popped up.
Rudiger's one, yes.
Rudiger is one here.
Yeah.
Rush, you've had Reece James twice.
That's it.
And myself, I've had 1 Cancelo and 1 Reece James. But most of my captaincies, like 17 captaincies for Salah.
I feel like it's a bit different from last season. I feel like last season had a bit more captaincy choices on defenders. There was a few more punts which we took. I think it's because of Salah's form this season around where we just couldn't swear.
I don't really hope for next season, to be honest. Like, there was just way too much template this year, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And I guess the guys that got away from it in the last couple of game weeks, they're the one that kind of prospered, it looks like.
Yeah.
That's true. And I think this was the panel team. You can see where we went wrong with the panel team. We clearly didn't trust our defenders properly. So we weren't... we tried. I guess it kind of makes sense because we were trying to be differential, which meant we tried to ignore Cancelo, Trent, Reece James of the likes, which resulted in the defense not being this thing. Interesting, Bowen appears here and doesn't really appear as much in other teams. And I would say Bowen was probably one of our key players. I don't know, Bowen does appear in our teams as well a bit. But Bowen in the panel team has been the most out of all. But I guess the panel team kind of makes sense as to why there's so many differential players compared to even the front line. Vardy, then Max, Gufal, Tomiyasu. So yeah. That's panel team. Now, this is where it kind of gets interesting. There are stuff here that is good, but I feel like there's a better way to explain this. Now, I took 64 hits this season. What were your thoughts on hits? Or 64 points. Sorry, 64 points worth of hits, not 64 hits. 64 points worth of hits. And most of my points, 998 came from minutes, clean sheets, goals, assists. But the best way to show that is through this. So captaincy was where most of my success came from. After that, I guess it was goals, a bit of assist, very low on the bonus. And I guess clean sheet was good. Clean sheet was probably second. So captain and clean sheet. So that's basically my big at the back this season, which kind of shows goals and assist was okay. Bonus I didn't really get as much. In terms of Rush managed to get 60 points worth of hits. Captaincy was captaincy here, it shows a bit more lower in terms of your success rate. Clean sheet, goals also a bit less. Assist was probably your second highest, I guess. Is that second highest? Or same thing with no. Clean sheet is still your second highest. And then your goals and assist, and then bonus.
I think the percentage is up there, right? 50%. It's there on the
Oh,
tape.
yeah.
52, 35. Yeah.
And 60 points of hits. I've been 72 points of hits.
Oof.
And yeah, Abin's captaincy is pretty good as usual. So
And
your
really good
captaincy,
captain. Yeah.
yeah, this is what we noticed last season as well, that his captaincy picks.
King of captains.
Yeah, you're usually good with your captaincy picks. But clean sheet wise, I think is a bit more lower compared to Rusha and mine. But bonus, goal, assist, all very similar. And then Roy took 80 points worth of hits. Now Roy's clean sheet is a bit more higher. I guess this
Yeah,
comes.
goalkeepers are
Yeah,
good.
your Ramsdale picks, which is where it comes into. But the rest, in terms of bonus, goals, assist, very similar to all of us as well. And this was the panel team. Now, interestingly, panel team also did, I guess, very good in terms of captaincy. And it kind of follows a similar pattern, given that, I guess, we are the ones who are picking it. So we eventually end up making similar moves. But I checked Jordan's one, and he had about 109 points worth of hits.
Oh.
So it kind of tells you, hits sometimes pay off if you take it correctly.
He does use that a lot. I remember he did that 2 years ago as well. He does love using those points.
Or even last year, I remember doing the exact same thing last year, Ryan, when we did the season podcast. And when Jordan won last year, he said pretty much double of what Ryan did last year.
Yep.
And he still won last year. So I don't think he's not afraid to take the hits. Yeah. He'd rather get the player in early than take the -4. Essentially. Okay.
I think that's something I learned a lot this season in terms of
That is so fascinating.
which one.
Yeah. Wondering who won the competition. Who is the first?
Yeah, who is?
What do you mean?
Compared that, like, who came first in the whole comp?
Oh, you want to compare that and see?
Yeah.
So okay, we can do that. So this was basically, look at this, like very similar in terms of Royce is higher in the clean sheets. Captaincy wise, Abin is a little bit more higher. But in terms of goals, assist, and bonus, looks very similar. The panel team, that's the lowest out of all.
Interesting. Royce was pretty high in the clean sheet and the bonus.
Yeah.
Even so it just seems like the captaincy choice has really screwed you over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ronaldo.
It seems like the
Ronaldo,
only
isn't
real. Yeah.
Disney and
It's
Ronaldo.
okay. It's just the captaincy choices really didn't pay off.
In terms of who came first, we can actually compare that and see for the person who came first to see how he did compared to us.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would be a good benchmark.
And also, thank you to everyone who is in chat. Okay, let me get the overall. Jamie came number 1. Let's add his. So this is Jamie. Captaincy.
Oof.
Okay. Bonus is slightly higher. I would say his clean sheet is very similar to Royce. And then obviously his goals and assist was slightly better as well. If we were to compare the number 1, let's add his here, right? And look at his team of the year. Look at that.
Ramsdale.
Defense is solid. Midfield is pretty packed in terms of points. I guess he got Son early. His Salah points are lower compared to, I guess, all of us. But then I think that's also because I think he, on his wildcard in, I think 26 or wherever, he dropped the likes of Salah and Trent, which shows why his points, in terms of the points he got from Salah, is much more lower. But he was able to accumulate those points with getting the likes of Son and Kane a bit more earlier. But yeah, that's
what that means is there's no one player play consistently for 38 games.
Yeah, that's true. We have to also be adaptive in terms of situation.
You gotta make change.
Yeah,
when you need it to be.
In terms of hits, he's got like -40, which is not too bad. It's lower than all of us, but I guess it's where the captaincy is the part where I guess you kind of see, and you go, okay, That's a high part that he got correct, which maybe we should. That's something
Very interesting, right? If you go to the table above where he had Salah and stuff, he's only captained Salah 11 times, 7 times. His captaincy choices are pretty much all over the shop as well. It's not, he's got a mix of different captains. He's probably had about.
We can try that and see.
Yeah.
If
It kind of shows that he went against the template a lot of places, didn't he? Then
Looks like it.
Yeah.
But it seems like it paid off.
770. Not too like in the terms of successful picks. I guess it's more. You need a bit of luck as well. I guess here's Son vice captain.
He didn't do Salah since 26.
No, exactly. So he wildcarded on that triple captain here for Salah. After that, I think he must have wildcarded somewhere around here, maybe 27 or 28. Because he couldn't wildcard in 26 because he triple captained. Yeah. So he probably wildcarded somewhere here. And then after that, I think he had Salah for this, but then after that, he's gone without Salah. Since game week 30. This is where the blank happened. This is where I think a lot of managers moved Salah out when that blank happened.
Yeah. Is that the AFCON or is it straight
after this is just after AFCON.
AFCON was 18, 19, 20.
Yeah. This is when there was that big blank in game week 30. And then he's gone on the Spurs lads mostly.
Really good that he came first in 37 and he managed to maintain that to 38.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been really scary.
He was 1 point ahead from the guy. But yes, you need a bit of luck as well. Son vice captain. I don't know who he captained for that week and how it went on to the vice captaincy. You need a bit of luck as well, I guess.
The goal for next year, right? Number 1.
Number 1 for next year? Who's going to get number 1? We'll have to find out. One of you guys make number 1, the channel will blow out. And then finally, I guess there's more stuff that here you guys can have a look as well in terms of ownership. It kind of shows you where you gained ownership, where you lost ownership. Like this is, I think this is the number 1 guy. So he gained huge in game week 36. Whereas if you were to look at, I guess this is Royce. Royce is a bit more mix of like gains and losses. Abin on the other hand, Abin had huge gain and losses for 36.
Yeah.
You backed both sides big time. And then Rush.
Something similar.
Look at that. Rush. This is Rush's massive bench boost in 37 or 36.
Yeah, that is. I mean, you are like one of the max points of the season.
Yeah, like 170 something.
It's crazy good, that one.
But you see how I was on the downward trajectory the whole time.
Yeah, over here.
So bad.
Yeah. And then this was mine. Tiny, more tinier.
Pretty steady.
Yeah. But it's more tinier. I guess that's kind of where I went. I was way more template. So I wasn't really losing out too much, but I wasn't also gaining out too much. But I guess that's one way if you want to like maintain rank or do well. I think the template this season was very strong, which is why it was kind of hard to like go out of the template as well because they kept on performing. This is another thing that I thought was pretty good in terms of plotting where your risk was. So I'm more on the over here is high risk, high reward. Low risk at the bottom. I mean, more template, I guess, but no reward or more reward. And in terms of where Rush is more in the center. This is 1 week. What was this? This is 36. Captaincy De Bruyne. You captain De Bruyne? Yeah, right? Yeah, that's why it's like really high.
Rush's political standing as well.
But everything else is more central. For Abin, same thing. Bit more, 2 extra ones over here, which was 38 and 27. 2 key weeks. And then Roy, you had way more risky moves. Ronaldo, I guess. I wouldn't be surprised.
That's always a season. Every comment it has to be Ronaldo. That's the reason for this.
Ronaldo here. Kane here. Vardy, Ramsdale. So he gained mostly over here, but he's betting against the likes of Fernando. So I bet he had like a mixture of stuff. in terms of risk and everything.
I think it's towards the end I was just basically taking gambles on every time. So it's more towards gambling.
Yeah. This I don't know how actually this works. This is like a predicted / realized. So I don't know whether you underperformed at the start and then went a bit higher than expected. Abin's is a mix. Abin underperformed significantly during this part, I guess. But I don't know if that's considered. I don't even know, to be honest.
It's after the AFCON, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. This is the Salah time, where Salah didn't perform as much. Rush is a mix, and then wing bench boost. And then mine is also, I guess, a mixed.
Oh, it's mostly green.
Yeah.
Mostly upward. No bad weeks.
Does that mean you outperform the predicted position every single week from 9?
I don't know. It depends on how he plots it. I have no idea how it actually plots.
It's to do with the luck, right?
Yeah.
You say the luck?
So my luck
difference.
is like 64.
Yeah, that's the difference between the line and that.
Yeah. But my predicted points wasn't okay. So I guess there's quite a bit of difference in terms of predicted points and real points. So I checked this on Twitter, like the guy who made it, and he was like, luck. I guess luck constitutes multiple different things in terms of moving early, in terms of maybe getting in players that maybe the model doesn't favor too much. So I had the likes of Reece James, who is like Abid mentioned earlier, high volatile player who can perform at various weeks. That also kind of contributes towards luck, I guess, at times. But if you were to compare, I guess that's another part. You get lucky, and also you bring in players a bit more earlier than what the model tends to find. So Reece James was one. I think Reece James was mainly one of my main players that I got in before the model probably got, and before like everyone started bandwagoning on to Reece James.
I think so. I just think Ryan just overperformed.
I'm trying to do, but I don't know. It says I had like 13.7% skill and 64% luck out of 100. But it says with this result I would have still finished top 50k, which I kind of did. For Rush, your skill for some reason it just didn't work.
Yeah, my first half of the season, like you can see it from all this. It just was. I think captaincy choices was poor. It was mostly some of the moves I made, transfer wise. A lot of injuries, and I just spent a lot of time trying to fix my injuries. A lot of Wolves players, and it was pretty average start of the season. And,
This is Abin's. Abin's is much more less in terms of skill being way more lower. But Abin needs a bit more luck, I guess.
I need luck. That's it.
Whatever, Abin needs a lot more luck. And this is Roy. Roy, you were way too risky. I'll put this Ronaldo again.
What does that mean with this result?
I don't actually know, to be honest. I think it's like you probably picked players that were against what an expected in terms of expected points model. You probably didn't pick the most optimal players, which is why it kind of like probably plots this. Which you probably can have a look here. It kind of shows like in terms of what were the optimal moves and everything, and what moves you made.
Basically, I outperform what it should be.
Maybe at times you could probably say that. I don't know. It says top 500k would have finished.
No luck at all.
You had about 30 luck. You had a higher luck than Rush and Abid. But in terms of, I guess, the players you picked at times were not the best.
Okay.
Don't trust that, Roy. You're fine.
Yeah, that's trust. You actually don't trust that. That'll be fine. The model is not correct always, I would say. In terms of points, where your players were categorized mainly premium, I guess this is Ronaldo and Kane or whatever. Budget in terms of mid, your mid price wasn't that, like, there wasn't too much investment into your mid price players. In terms of players you lost from, which is what I thought was good. This is the players you gained from. So you got in from like Ramsdale, Ronaldo, which is why they have high boxes. In terms of who you lost from, Son, Rafinha, these two are pretty high equally. Trent, and I guess Antonio. For Abin, very similar in terms of investment. But in terms of who he lost from, Son was, I think, the massive box.
Yeah.
Followed by Kane and James.
Yeah.
And then Rush.
It'll be James. I'm sure my biggest loser will be James.
Trent.
Oh.
Actually, Trent and James followed that. You have a bit of Fernandes and a bit of Kane here. You haven't lost out on too much with regards to, or I guess you kind of have, but it's a more equal distribution. But you gained a lot from Son compared to Ross. Gain from Cancelo, gain from Trent, gain from Ramsdale, Ronaldo as well. And then mine, I lost out from Son a lot. I interestingly lost out from Tony, although I don't think I ever needed to own Tony. But yeah.
And Mbeumo.
And Mbeumo. I do not want to consider the Mbeumo topic will not come. But I lost out on Ramsdale a lot as well. Which I probably should have. I think I lost out on Ramsdale because I never trusted Arsenal. To be fair, I should have put my bias towards Arsenal side.
You are right.
Because I didn't think Arsenal were good enough, and they kind of.
Well, we finished above you.
Yeah, I know they proved me wrong. They finished above us just to end up in the same competition.
I know.
And then obviously Rudiger. But yeah, I think next season be friends with Son a bit more.
It's a golden boot winner. Golden boot winner.
Next season is all Sancho and everyone else we get, Anthony.
Yep.
Captaining Nathan Trippier for 38 game weeks next season.
Average formation, mine was like a 3-4-2 almost. Rush was also very similar, maybe. Bit more favored in the premium striker, I guess. Abin was also 3-4-2, looks like it. And Roy was also 3-4. Though Roy was a bit more less than 3-4-2 sometimes in terms of midfield. Number one guy. This is the number one guy, which is also pretty interesting.
Wow.
You can kind of see his end was pretty good.
It's funny, his luck is minus.
Yeah, so maybe he could have got a bit more lucky at times. I guess that's because of the start.
He's got good skills.
Probably, yeah. And
330.
yeah, look at that luck.
How does that work?
I don't know.
You have to be luck to get to one.
No, you have
this
to be
guy is super lucky.
Yeah, you have to have lucky to get to one. You can't not have lucky.
Correct.
His major losses were Saka, Ronaldo, Trent, Salah as well, but Saka mainly in terms of what it was expected. 4-3-2. Huh? This is the winner.
Big winners? Sorry.
Yeah. So I guess
Salah, Kane,
Salah, Kane, Son, Trent, Cancelo, James, Ramsdale. Those are his big winners. I guess anything above 50. This is something I think probably true. Anything above 50k, you need to be lucky after that, wherever you finish, because there's a lot of variance in the game that can take you anywhere. Sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it doesn't. And then the final chart before we end. This is mine. This is something I think kind of helped in one way. Sometimes maybe I shouldn't have been focusing on too much. I don't know. But I started using this in the second half of the season, which in one way maybe kept me a bit more steady in terms of trying to predict expected points of players and make moves based on like the expected points, which is why you see my the data pretty decent in terms of what's predicted. So I got 19k. The model predicts me about 14k, 18k, XG data about 30k. So I kind of ended up where I was supposed to end up in some ways based on the data. My risk this season is absolutely non-existent. My template is quite high. Luck was also pretty decent. But I think that was one thing I noticed where because of the start I had, I just didn't take any risk. Safe. Yeah, I played it safe. In one way, maybe I played it too safe. I might think, I don't know. We never know. But I played it safe. That's what the picture is saying. For Rush.
Not the risk.
Rush had way more risk involved. But Rush's picks in terms of data were much more lower. Based off so picking players based off like numbers. But Rush also, I guess Rush he ended up in 100k, but I guess he predicts like 150, 140, 170. So he kind of went a bit more higher than what you were expected to. But I guess that's part of like variance as well. But you're still in that 100 something range. It's just that risk was high. For Abin, much more lower in risk. Template wise was pretty also good. Abin, I think, was unlucky. Safe to say.
Yeah.
You were supposed to end up in like the top 40k around in this based on this itself.
Yeah. I agree.
Because your numbers are good. Your numbers are really good in terms of like your picks.
I was just unlucky.
Yeah.
There's so many times I was just like, it was unfair. What is
Because if you look at his luck, it was just way lower. So I think this is one season Rabin can just like say it just didn't go his way.
Yeah, well, it's still better than last season. So it's only my second season now.
Yeah, but there's a lot to take away, but it's good. So you're making the correct moves. What it tells you, the numbers tell you you're making your good moves, because at least your ranks are in terms of where you should have ended up in terms of the number in terms of picking players based on numbers.
Yeah.
Is good. And then finally, this is Roy.
Risk is off the chart.
Risk is off the charts. I'll tell you that.
The maximum risk taker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But your numbers picks are way more lower. Template wise is pretty decent. Luck is also pretty good. I guess based on your numbers, you ended up where you should have ended up.
Yeah.
Look at that, 327k for like the numbers. Massive data 400. You ended up kind of exactly same way you did, based on what you were picking.
Yeah. That is a worry, considering my day job is accountant.
So you shouldn't be making risky moves.
I think because we're so safe at work, Roy, we have to take some punts out of work. That's why.
That's what it is.
So that was in terms of the panel. I expect the panel to be this risky because it was intended to be risky.
Yeah.
Interestingly, the panel had -2 variance, which means I guess he was a bit unlucky at times. But numbers-wise, it's made pretty decent moves as well. Interestingly, numbers-wise, it's supposed to be like 100k. In the 100ks, it finished 268, which means the panel team had no luck, sadly.
Yeah.
Or it wasn't in its favor. So that's it. Do we need to look at the number one guy or probably not?
Nah.
Okay.
Next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was like the biggest variance there, wasn't it? Jeez.
Yours was 21.4. Rush 92. Mine was 86. Abin 61. So Rush had the most amount of luck out of all of us.
It was the one game week from De Bruyne saved me. Yeah, I just think for me, early on, like the whole first half of the season, it just didn't go well. All my transfers in and transfers out were just shocking.
But you wildcarded pretty early as well. I remember that.
Yes.
My first wildcard was very early, from like game week 3 or 4.
He did this last season as well. He wildcarded very early last time as well.
Yeah, but like I don't know what happened after that. I think either my wildcard didn't go well, and I just got stuck with players, and yeah, it just took me a long time to climb back up. I had a lot of shit game weeks in between where my rank just kept dropping. And then I had to start taking punts to catch up. So some of my captaincy options, I had to start bringing players different. So even bringing Sun early and stuff was a way to sort of catch up for me in a way. But yeah, I mean, at the end, okay, but
I forgot to change screens. Sad life on the video. Over. Hopefully people realize. Okay, we were looking at this. But yeah, that's basically all I have. And then obviously this for those who didn't see, because I obviously forgot to change screens. But final thoughts. That's basically all I have at the moment. Not as many tools as last time.
John, let me go first. I think
okay, go.
What I did pretty wrong, or what I should improve next season, is stop being a bit emotional about it. I think I've been watching football, Premier League for a long time, and sometimes my previous experience or my expectation of the players sometimes took over. Rather than looking at the data, looking at how they've been performing, what the forms are, I look at the names. I look at the players I like, the players I don't like as a footballer, rather than they're just players score points for the purpose of competition. And also, I'm quite biased against Spurs players. Because in my head, I always want them to lose. And I didn't believe towards the back end of the season, I did not believe they will come good.
Yeah.
So I was so certain Arsenal's going to do better.
Yeah.
Because of that, it's just way too emotional.
Fair enough. I guess you have to be like Man United fans, where you have no hope.
The first half I did okay. First half of the season I did okay, and towards the end.
That's because Spurs went okay.
Yeah, Arsenal's top 4, and Spurs is 5th behind us, and I was get so caught up in this.
Fair enough. I think that happens quite a lot for a lot of us. And I think that would have happened to us as well this season if Man United weren't that bad. Because we might have gone on with a few United players. Whereas this season, I feel like there were points where I was like, I'm going to target Man United. So I'm going to get in players who are playing against United's defense. And I basically did that at times. Because it was so good an opportunity to get points. But I guess it would have been different if...
Very bad, Ryan. So you want our team to do bad. So you're rooting for the opposition.
I mean, all of us captain Salah when he scored a hat-trick against United that time.
Yeah.
But that's a good idea, because if Man United win, you're happy. If Man United lose, you're still happy. From the FPL point of view.
FPL point of view. Yeah. Although I was more disappointed than happy. But then there were points where I guess you have to somewhat take you don't really need to take the emotional part out of it, right? It's a game at the end of the day. You want to have fun.
True.
Yeah. But I guess it's a good point to mention as well, because sometimes I think the part that probably needs to change is probably you can still back your own team even in the game, and I think a lot of managers want to, but I guess it's more the rival teams where you probably have to bring in more like Spurs players, like we have like Liverpool players, City players. I can't go without owning Liverpool or City. I'm also just not play the game. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it should be more subjective rather than, when you play FPL, just be neutral.
Yeah. You can have bias. There's nothing wrong with having bias. And if it was not for your bias to Arsenal, I wouldn't have bought in the likes of Smith Rowe or Saka earlier on, when Smith Rowe was like getting goals for like just coming off the bench. But it's good to have bias, but I guess it's looking at the opposition teams, probably need to look at them a bit more with an open eye, I guess.
True. Yeah. I guess that's the advice for people who listen, and for myself as well.
It's really hard to be a United fan, isn't it? When you have Liverpool and City both are the two nemesis for performing, and you just load your team with like 6 of them in there. Jeez. So hard.
I know.
But geez, I just hope for a season where I wish I played this in the Ferguson era. What that felt like. I just
spoke for choice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo getting golden boots.
I just want to enjoy this game. I feel like I hardly enjoy this game because I love United so much, and then this is what happens. You just want them to lose just to get this team out.
Maybe next season there's hope. We never know. But yeah, thoughts, Rush, Abin, season 1.
Abin, you can go first.
Geez, I don't really know, to be honest. It's what mistakes did I do?
Abin's still learning, I guess.
I'm still figuring out half the time. I asked stuff Ryan on the side. How do these things work? How did that thing work? I still haven't fully grasped the game in its full. It's only my second season now. I always feel like I would take more risks, and I hope next year is less templatey, and then we can just really everyone be just more different. Because I hate the fact that we all captaining Salah and but we just felt like we had to do that.
Yeah.
So I hope that there's more spread in that.
Be interesting because we have 30 days or something before the new season, probably, or like the game and everything gets launched.
Yeah.
And then there's
30 days.
Yeah, I think it's about looking at. There's a bit more than 30 days before the season starts, but looking at where they released the game last season, level like a couple of weeks I think before the season starts, people can make draft teams and everything.
Right.
I think the people running the game have about 30 days to think about new price points because obviously
I think what will help is just maybe some new flexibility in how the game works. Maybe I think a lot of people are talking about that as well.
Yeah.
It seems just
new price points, new chips.
New price points, chips, just even like positions where some of these players are played. You can get more options elsewhere. I mean, can we really say Salah is in the midfield? I don't know.
You don't know. Will Salah be in the league next season? That's another question.
That's also true. So I think hopefully they spice it up a bit because it seems that the way the game is now has been like that for a while, and I think what made the season different is just because of all the COVID, right, and all the double game weeks, triple game weeks, or whatever, blank game weeks. I think next season will be back to normal, just single game weeks every week, and you really want to add new features or new things just to spice it up.
That's true. And then I think World Cup will kind of. This is the third season Abin's going to get, which is not a normal FPL season, because World Cup will be in the middle.
Well, I hope that they just allow us just to do a fresh team.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah,
like a free wildcard or something.
Yeah, during that time. We'll have to see. So you could effectively have 3 wildcards. You never know.
Or just like break the season in 2 and just give chips on each half. Yeah,
we'll see what happens. Rush.
Yeah, I mean, just following up on what Abin said about price points as well. So I think even like at the beginning of the season, we looked at the price points of Kane and Salah, and we're like, there's no way we're going to afford these guys, and there's no way we're going to keep them. Come game week 38, Kane and Salah are still in your team. I mean, we're still happy to pay the premium price, right? I'm sure next season, Son and Salah, Son will probably go up, definitely.
Haaland
is a new addition. Kane, I think the way Kane started the season, I could have seen him gone down, but the way he ended, he'd probably still remain at the same price point. So I think we had the same dilemma at the beginning of last season where we asked for more money from FPL and $100 million. We couldn't afford a team.
Lukaku, remember? The guy called Lukaku?
Lukaku, Ronaldo, Salah, all these premium players. And we just struggled with budget early on, right? So, yeah, it's interesting because I think I agree with what Abin said as well. I don't want it to be, an insta lock on Salah captaincy every week.
Yeah.
That's kind of make it a bit boring. And, you just don't have time and space. So I think it'll be good if they find a way to, neutralize that. But I guess coming to me, my season, what I would want to do better next season is probably start off stronger. I think this season I started off pretty poor in the sense that I was taking too many risks early on rather than sticking with the I didn't even bring in a Chelsea defender until like pretty much AFCON, like things like that, which really cost me. I want to try avoiding those mistakes early on. And then I can start taking the risks towards the later stages, which is why mine obviously saw the graphs is like red all the way. And towards the end, I caught up. I'd rather like to just go more steadier on the upwards trend.
Yeah. Then finally,
your reflections, Ryan. What would you have done to stay in the top 3K?
Not top 3K, I guess top 10K. I would have. I think I need to be more not afraid of taking high EO players out. I think that was one. I kept Salah for too long. If you look at Trent as well, if you look at his points after game week 30, it's just bad for the price. If you look at Trent's points. So I guess that's something I probably have to learn where it's all right to take high EO players out when they're not performing. And because you're missing out on opportunities for bringing in the likes of Sun, which I noticed like Sun was one of my main reasons I lost rank. And I kept tweeting, I'm losing rank every time Sun was this thing. But I still had Salah and I didn't take him off. So I think that is one key takeaway for me. The other thing I think is FPL is a simple game. Keep it simple. I overcomplicated it. I played the bench boost in the wrong week and played the free hit in the wrong week. Both resulted in red arrows, which was crazy that I used my chips and ended up in reds on those weeks. Yeah, that's my takeaway.
Yeah, I agree with that. The last one, I think everyone captained Salah that week. Everyone triple captained him, and they got 84. And I was just like, nah. I left it later for some reason.
That's so use your chips. Maybe like there's a reason the community goes with like this is the best week to triple captain or this is the best week to bench boost or something, because I guess the numbers back up, the data packs up. So sometimes it's okay to be template with your chips because there's a very good reason why everyone's going there.
Your free hits didn't end up being too good, right?
Both my free hits were reds.
Yeah, no, your original team would have outscored.
Yes. Yeah. Both my free hits, my original team would have outscored my team. I mean, my original team did outscore my free hit team. So that shows where sometimes a free hit chip is a good chip, I still think, but I used it at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Just remember, we'll have one next season, right?
I don't know. We might have one at each half, like Abe mentioned. Maybe split the chips in half seasons. We don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
Looks like going through everything today. Don't be scared of taking a lot of hits, right? Jeez.
Yeah. So those are my reflections. And then finally, before we end it out, I want to say I managed to make 320 subscribers. Not too bad. So thank you to everyone who subscribed this season. I didn't know the deadline streams would have been that great. Which is why I think I started on it too late. Maybe we could have started on it much more earlier, and probably next season we'll start on it much more earlier. Probably we'll be able to hit about 1,000 subscribers next season. We'll see. But 321 subscribers. Huge shout out to everyone in the chat as well, and for everyone who subscribed. Massive season, and the content only gets better from here onwards. So yeah, that's basically it.
We might have a new panel member. Secret to be announced.
Yep, we might have a new panel member as well. And I was talking with one of the viewers yesterday. Maybe an opportunity for the viewers to do like team reveals on the channel, like for them to come and give like a team reveal video or something every week. So if anyone's interested and watching this now, if you want to do team reveals for next season, send me a message on Twitter. But yeah, looking forward to integrating more people, new panel member as well, who might offer something different. So we'll see. But yeah, that's basically it.
Ryan is firing us all, guys.
Well, I'm not firing anyone. And if anyone on the channel also has like any content ideas you would like to see us do, let us know, and we'll be definitely looking into it. And maybe during this break, I might do a few transfer videos. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's basically it. Anything else to say?
It is a pleasure to be on the podcast this year. Thank you, everyone.
You were a good addition.
Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
It certainly helped me as well in my game. So
that's good.
Except Roy, I still remember the week that we were talking, and you promised all these Everton players, and we saw nothing in the end.
Well, wait. Everton did survive. They did survive.
But you didn't pick them.
No, you said you're tripling up on Everton players. It never happened.
I should have.
You should have.
I should have.
You should have.
I should have.
I was
the
so
last
shocked.
Last minute change of heart.
Yeah, the team you sent in the chat, I was like, oh, this team performed well. And then I looked at Roy's team, it completely different.
Yeah.
Changed it up. I was like, no.
Yeah.
But yeah. But it was good. It was good. It was good to get from your point of view, like an Arsenal's point of view, because I don't think we didn't have that the first time we started. And it kind of helped because I was able to tap into some Arsenal knowledge in terms of getting different Arsenal players. And it kind of helped this season. So it was good. It was good.
Really? We need to find the next Tony and Mbeumo for next season. Mitrovic. Else is there?
Solanke. We'll see.
Solanke.
Yeah, we'll see. So many options.
Well, we'll see.
Maybe Haaland. You never know.
We'll see Fulham get relegated again. That's how it happens. Norwich gets promoted. That's what happens, right?
Every season.
Every season. Without fail.
Having said all of that, thank you everyone, and we'll see you guys later.
See you guys into the off season.